Max, I'm gonna do the intro. Welcome, guys, to another tier list. We're doing Marvel movies this
I
time.
wanted to do the
Yeah,
intro.
I flipped it. Ah,
Welcome
satisfaction.
back, everyone, to Tin and Max. Today, we're going to be doing the Marvel movies in a tier list. That's right. Us giving our opinions to you because you need them. You need our opinions to really survive. So we're here to supply them to you. If you like these tier lists, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We got a couple more coming out, but we're kind of
Are they already
expanding the
out?
channel.
Either way,
We're kind of expanding the channel a little bit, talking about movies, TV shows.
video
Obviously,
games.
we
No,
have
wait.
comic books, video games. We do those.
Yeah, we. I don't know. Have we ever done a video game?
I don't know. I guess you have to look on the
Oh,
channel to
we did
see.
Overcooked once. Anyway,
We did Planet Mini Golf that one time. Um.
the best game of all time.
Anyways, we're gonna rank these movies.
I do want to just point out it's obvious, but people will comment if we don't. It doesn't have Black Widow or Shang-Chi. I haven't seen Black Widow or Shang-Chi.
I haven't
And
either, actually.
Max hasn't either, so we even if they were on here, we don't know yet. I've heard great things about Shang-Chi. I really want to see it, but I haven't. I'm also probably butchering the pronouncing, but whatever.
Shang-Chi.
That all right. Yeah, so just want to put that out there. We realize they're not on here, and that's why.
Why is this list not in order? It kind of drives me crazy. Why is like Iron Man not first, and then followed by Incredible Hulk? I'm like, why is it Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 as our first choice? I say we go in order for where it is.
Sure.
Iron Man was the first movie.
I feel like that's an obvious S.
That's an obvious S. It's
I
what
think
started this whole franchise.
aside from like how good the movie is, the fact that it was basically made just without a proper script during like the writers strike and whatever, like the fact that they didn't really have a plan and it turned out as good as it was would be impressive enough, but it's also still just a good movie outside of that.
So
So
good.
yeah.
So good.
Plus
Robert Downey Jr.'s life was saved because of this movie.
the casting of him is one of the most on point castings of all time. Is
Yep.
that my door?
Which is incredible.
No. My son's probably destroying something in my living room. All right, what's
Nice.
next? The Incredible Hulk. I where is it? I don't remember anything about this movie.
So I actually liked it. It's really sad because when like looking back, obviously the MCU, Edward Norton's not the Hulk in it. But the movie itself was actually solid, especially again at the time and everything like that. So I don't know.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
I think it deserves to be not not deterred, not D tier, but either C or B. Probably C. Probably C. But doing just a tier list by myself where I can't even move the movie thing to
I
the
agree
correct
with
tier,
C. C is a good option for
where
this
you can't even
movie.
like. It sucks not being able to even like move it to the thing. I'm just sitting here talking to
All
myself.
right. What's next? Iron Man 2? Right?
Iron Man 2, the poopy poop of the poop.
I don't think it's as bad as people remember it being. I think it has a lot of. I think that movie suffers, and like John Favreau will talk about it now. The studio interfered a lot with Iron Man 2 because Iron Man 1 was as successful as it was, and they kind of messed around with his vision, and he didn't really get to do some of the things he wanted to do, and the
Yeah.
movie kind of suffers from that. I still like the suit up scene with the suitcase Iron Man suit. Still one of the
That is
coolest
cool.
Iron Man moments. So I don't know.
It is a cool moment. I just like Iron Man a lot. I don't want to be biased. Iron Man 2, by the way, is by Iron Man 3 in Avengers Infinity War, if you were looking for it.
I was.
And I think it may be C tier. C tier.
Before I would watch Iron Man 2 before I watched Incredible Hulk, but that's just
Actually, I would too. That's true.
because
So,
we went to go see Iron Man 2. Do you remember that?
we did.
And
We
I
did.
think we loved it at the time because we were kids. We didn't know better. But
Yeah, because it was Iron Man, dude.
remember
It was
that one
Iron
guy? While we went to go see this, like we talked a couple times, which not cool, but like we were quiet, and like this guy shushed us really aggressively, and then the same guy during the finale of the movie was like in his seat going, "Yeah, Iron Man, go! Yeah, Iron." You remember that?
I do actually remember that. I forgot that was that movie.
I, I
You're
was
totally right.
I think I was 13 when this movie came out, and like they asked to see my ID for me to get in. Who
Oh
does
my
that?
gosh.
Anyway, what's next? Thor. No, it's either Captain America or
Captain
Thor. I don't
America.
think it matters which one. Let's do
I
Captain
think it's Captain
America.
America.
I'm not a big fan, but I haven't watched it in a while, and that might change if I rewatched it. But I just didn't care about it
I'm
at
also not a
first.
big fan of Captain America. It wasn't really amazingly done. The Red Skull as a villain wasn't like my favorite.
That's where MCU suffers the most.
Yeah, and so I think this is another one. I know we're putting a lot in C tier right now, but I think this is another one that goes in C tier, maybe even D tier.
I don't know about D tier. I think it does a lot of good things that set up stuff in the future. Like it cast Captain, like it's Chris Evans as Captain America, and
Great.
he's added a lot to that character
Yeah.
because the character in the comics is kind of nothing if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I would, I'd probably put it above Iron Man 2 because it's just a better movie overall. It's the it's maybe less interesting, but it's a better movie. It's better structured and
Well,
whatever.
this is where my bias for just liking Iron Man better, I would put it over, but I get it. I think this is good. I
And
think this is
also,
good.
it's been a while since I've watched it. I might enjoy it a lot more now with like the hindsight of how much better. Because like I don't think I've seen Captain America since the first time I watched it. So
Mm.
like maybe now after like the other Captain America movies, which are really good, and you know the rest of the Marvel universe, maybe I'll have newfound appreciation for it the next time I watch it. But right now, it's a C for me.
Yep.
Thor, same boat,
Let's see what you think about this one.
same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't remember loving it, but it's not. I'd say it's a little bit higher than Captain America, just because I like
Uh,
the world in it a lot more, like the whole Asgardian thing and like that kind of stuff's cool. And Chris Hemsworth bleached his eyebrows, so that was pretty cool. Um,
you know what? For that, sure, I
yeah,
agree with you. Sure,
bleached
C,
eyebrows for the win. Where is it?
but it's
Where
it's
I
not a
just
B,
had it. I just had it.
not a B. Still,
Okay.
we're in a lot of C's here, a lot of C's. But don't worry, we're gonna get into the juicy ones here later.
Avengers 1, right?
And this is one of those. Yes, this is one of the movies that I think is really good. I wouldn't necessarily put it, definitely not S tier.
I'd put it as S. I love this movie. I think it's
Oh, I love this movie, but I don't want to put it
look,
as S tier.
look, maybe it's controversial. I would put it as S tier above Iron Man. Because yes, Iron Man started the universe. Hold on, let me finish. Iron Man started the universe. The Avengers proved that it could work as like a combined universe. Up until now with it all individual stories, Avengers is where it all came together and it proved that like this will work. This is a gangbang. And this is like this series is gonna do amazing. Like that movie was great. Like it was really well made. It kind of established a lot of the tone going forward for the Avengers, and it proved that like that kind of ensemble superhero movie can work really well in live action when you take the time to set it up properly. I'm looking at you, Justice League. I think it's S tier for those reasons. I think it
I don't know. That
does.
was a pretty good argument. I honestly, I've never heard an argument like that for Avengers before. I just kind of always heard it as like everyone's together and it's awesome. I'm like, well, if that's the case, then of course the future movies are
I
better.
think
But
better. There are like I think Endgame is the best Avengers movie out of like the four Avengers movie, but I don't think you wouldn't have Endgame without this one. This is the blueprint. This is what set it all in motion. This is the movie that showed Marvel,
that's the
hey,
question: are we doing quality of movie, or are we doing, hey, what set up everything?
well, I
Because
still
quality,
think that speaks to the quality of the movie though. Like if this movie had sucked and done horribly and like the characters like the story didn't come together, it would be a bad movie and the universe wouldn't have gone forward like it did. So I don't think you can really separate them two in this context.
okay, I get you. You won me over. I think S tier. I said definitely not S tier, but you convinced
I
me.
won't put
I
it
say
in front of
below
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man.
I won't put it in front of Iron Man out of respect for your fandom of Iron Man.
Thank you.
I think it's a better movie.
Stop it.
But yeah,
But yeah, probably
it does a lot of really good things. And
it's a really good movie.
if it
Really love
had
it.
flopped, we wouldn't have the MCU, at least as it is now. What was
That's
next?
fair because I guess Thor and Captain America didn't do as good, or
Yeah,
Iron Man 2.
and like,
So Avengers did really bring it together.
yeah, exactly. Avengers is like, hey, we can have this connected world, and it'll work. It'll do well. So,
Yep, it's true.
Winter Soldier set next,
Winter Soldier, Thor: The Dark World.
and then like Guardians of the Galaxy was phase 2. Was
Yeah,
it?
Iron Man
Yeah,
3.
and
It's in there
then
too.
We'll end off on Age of Ultron. All right, I really like Winter Soldier.
I also really liked Winter Soldier. That was a really good movie. Again, I would say B tier, like but high B tier.
I
But
would
I
say
wouldn't say
A. I would say A.
there's
It's like,
enough movies that are still down on this list that are not S tier, but I like better than it.
but I like what?
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, for
Yeah,
example.
but I think Captain America: Winter Soldier is a really it's a really good movie outside of being a superhero movie. Like
Totally,
it
but
does
it's
so much
Captain
right.
America, which so again, don't get me wrong, a standalone Captain America movie, I think they nailed it. But it's Captain America, which means it's B tier.
I don't think I think that's doing I think that's doing Chris Evans' version of Captain America
I'm
a
not saying Chris
disservice.
Evans did a bad job. I said he nailed it. They nailed it
I
as
think
a
it's
B
good. I'll
tier.
put it on B,
As a
but
B
it's
tier
it's high
hero.
B. I think
It's high
it's
B.
I
That's
think
what I
it's an
agree. I
A.
said. That's what I said. I think it's high B.
I think it's an A. What's next? Thor: Dark World. I don't know. A C. Who cares?
Thor Dark World was a D. That was
Thor:
the
Dark World. I think
that
gets
was
a
a
lot of
bad movie.
flack. I think
It
it
was a
gets more
bad
flack than it
movie.
deserves. I don't think it's as
It
bad as
didn't
people
make
make it
sense,
sound.
and
I
they
don't
had to
remember,
retcon a lot of stuff on it.
but it does. Like I will say, having the hindsight, it does actually apparently play a pretty big role in the future of the Marvel movies because it keeps
Yeah,
coming back for some reason.
yeah.
What's next? Guardians
Iron
of the
Man
Galaxy.
3
Oh yeah,
or Guardians of the Galaxy. Iron Man 3 was also a very bad movie.
it didn't
Yep.
make a lot of sense. The arc for the character doesn't make sense. It was cool that they had Tony with PTSD, but like, who cares at the end? And also, he
Yeah.
destroys all his suits, and like, it's not on the director because like I think the director wanted to tell a story with a little bit more of a conclusion than could be possible without retiring the Iron Man character way sooner than Marvel wanted to do. And like, it has some weird dialogue and moments, and
It was strange. It was very
Iron
strange.
Man's not in his suits for most of it. And also, they just kind of get folded like plat. And oh my god, the Mandarin.
Yeah. The
That's
Mandarin was
that's enough for D tier alone. They botched that.
if there was an F tier, I'd put this movie in F tier.
Oh, yeah.
It was the worst one by far.
Yeah. All right.
And I love Iron
Guardian.
Man. And so that's so sad to say.
Yeah,
But
he
Guardians of the
has.
Galaxy, A tier.
I think Iron Man probably has the weakest trilogy.
The first one is so good. The second one is bad. And the third one is straight
Yeah.
up awful.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we don't see the kid that was in Iron Man 3, except for in
He was in
end of
Endgame.
Endgame.
He might be in
But the
Armor
second
Wars. We don't know.
he's not going to be. Stop it.
He might be.
Just stop it. He's
Nobody
not
thought.
going to
Nobody
be.
thought he was going to be
If
in
he's not a
Endgame.
good actor, he's not going to be.
He was a kid. He's probably gotten
He
better.
was a kid and it was bad.
All kid
It
actors
was
are
stupid.
bad.
Yeah, but you don't need a kid for a PTSD movie. And especially when the second Iron Man was all about how Iron Man was dying. And so he was struggling with internal struggle. Why do we need an Iron Man 3 where he's dying, but of emotional? Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
Go Guardians of the Galaxy, A tier.
What's it? Yeah, that one's easy.
That was
James
awesome. I love that
Gunn
movie.
just kills it.
I love that movie, man.
And it
Good
again, it's kind of like Avengers, where it shows that like Marvel could take something people wouldn't be familiar with, which honestly was most of their movies up until that point, but
Yep.
like something really obscure for someone who doesn't read comics, and make it a blockbuster hit, which they've done time and time again since. So obvious A tier for me.
Yep.
Uh,
Avengers Age of Ultron.
look, this movie has its problems, and a lot of that again comes down to like Josh Whedon, who might be a terrible person, but that's unrelated. He had to make a lot of sacrifices in order to like, because like he had to set up Ragnarok, he had to set up Infinity War, he had to like, what is that?
B.
Yeah, I agree. And like the movie suffers from it. And he has that weird storyline with Black Widow
Yeah.
saying she's a monster because she.
I like
can't
that
have
Scarlet
children.
Witch is introduced. That's my big thing. I
Yeah.
like the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, and
is
then
introduced.
Quicksilver, who's then killed immediately.
Yeah, that sucked. It sucked real bad. I like Quicksilver a lot too, so that was sad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I like Ultron. I don't know if he's like the best. He was one of my favorite villains for a while because I liked
He
him.
was. I think they kind of butchered his villain, to be honest. I thought
They
he
did
was.
to a bit because like a lot of the time in the comics, Ultron is like the Avengers like main nemesis outside of like Thanos. Like Ultron is like a way more bigger threat. I mean, I guess he's a pretty big threat in terms of the MCU, but like we're never gonna see him again, probably, and that
Right.
sucks because he's supposed to be like a reoccurring villain. He at one in several comics he just wipes out the Avengers and takes over the Earth. Like they
I
didn't
would
really
love
do him
that.
justice. He
It'd be
might be in
awesome
What
to end the
If,
MCU
which
like that.
is still airing when we film this. It's probably done by the time it goes up, but he's supposed to be in one of the What Ifs, I think. Anyway, what's the hell's next?
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Never seen it.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
never wanted
Ant-Man.
to.
Ant-Man's really good, actually.
I'll take your word for it.
Ant-Man's really good. I like it actually quite a bit. Paul Rudd actually does a really good job. He's funny. Like the movie's actually
Well,
good.
yeah, he's Paul Rudd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a really good movie. You should watch it. And it's
No,
definitely, I would say, top of B tier.
I'm not putting it over Winter
You're not
Soldier.
gonna watch it?
I'm not gonna put it over Winter Soldier. I'll watch it, but I'm not putting it over Winter Soldier. I
Okay,
like the Winter Soldier way
this is
better.
this is the thing. You have to watch that movie. Like,
I will, but I don't think I'm gonna
you
like
have
it
to
as
watch
I
that
don't think
movie.
I'm gonna like it as much as you will. I can promise you I'm not gonna like it as much as you do.
I you need to watch it
All right, I will.
before you see him.
Next, what's next?
Doctor Strange?
Yeah, sure, why not? I like Doctor Strange. It's a lot of Iron Man story threads retold, kind of, but with
Yeah,
magic instead of armor. But I like Benedict Cumberbatch, so I think it's probably B. I'm fine with putting it here.
I think that's a great spot for it.
I'm very excited for Multiverse of Madness, which is Doctor Strange 2. I think that's going to be Doctor Strange's real defining moment.
I would
But
agree.
he's better in like Infinity War and Endgame than he is in this movie.
Totally.
What's the hell's next?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
B. I don't really care where in the B. Not as good as the first one, but still really good.
I think lower. Honestly, I think it would be the end of B tier.
It's not worse than Ultron or Doctor. It's better than these two.
That's true.
It's,
Actually, okay,
I can't speak for Ant-Man. I haven't seen it, but it's
put
definitely
it there.
better
Yeah,
than
that's
these two.
that's good. That's good. And the whole, father being the villain, thing is kind of overplayed a little bit. That's the only reason I didn't love it. But
Where else
um,
is that replayed?
what?
Where else is that in the
In
MCU?
so many movies, it
In the
doesn't necessarily
MCU?
MCU.
Well,
No,
yeah, movies are gonna retell stories, Max. There's only so many story archetypes out there you can use, Max.
no, there are so many stories you can make. The world is your oyster. You do not need to have the father be a villain. You could have had anyone
Hey,
be a
what's
villain.
the plot of Ant-Man?
Not the father's a villain.
Yeah, but like, what's the plot?
The plot is that there is
A guy makes a suit that can do a special thing, and some guy wants to steal it, and then does steal it, and then he fights the guy with the same powers of him at the end of the movie.
but it's not the same powers. Wasps.
So weird. Anyway, what's next?
You know what? Actually, for that, put Ant-Man below Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You're spot on. That's hilarious. Actually, put it below all of the other ones. That's so spot on.
You just never make that connection?
Well, you know what? Let's go on to Captain America: Civil War.
I'm not a big fan of it. The airport fight's obviously very cool, and it does introduce Black Panther, and he's great. But like, I don't care about the movie that much.
It also introduces Spider-Man, so don't forget
That's
that.
true, but his
And
movies are way better.
also, the fight with Iron Man, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier might be one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I'd say I don't want to put it above Winter Soldier because I think that's a better
I
movie.
actually wouldn't put it above Winter Soldier, but I would watch it
Maybe
over
right in
Age of
the
Ultron for sure.
middle here. Would
I'm
you
good
rather
there.
watch
I'm good
it? I'd rather watch it than Doctor Strange. I think
Me too.
it's also
No, I
too
think
long.
it is a little too long.
It's
They
basically
definitely could shorten it,
Avengers 2.5 if we're being honest,
but yeah.
because it's more that than a Captain America movie.
Yep.
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
I higher A S tier movie. It is like aside from
Love
like
this
the
movie.
cultural significance of it, which is a really big deal, like a
Yep.
$1 billion movie with a mostly black cast starring a black superhero, like that is a big deal, and like it's a
Right.
good movie to match. Like it's not just like, oh, it's because it's a good movie. I really Killmonger is like
Fantastic.
some people will
Best
say Thanos.
villain.
Best villain is Killmonger. Thanos
100%.
is fine, but Killmonger is top tier.
Thanos is fantastic. And I think they're different. Honestly, they're different. I wouldn't necessarily, I wouldn't personally say one's better than the other, like surely,
I
but
would.
like they're different. And Killmonger's personally my favorite
I
between the
think
two.
Thanos
So
is kind of an idiot, but that's my own opinion. Anyway,
how is Thanos an idiot?
because his plan is stupid and it doesn't make sense. He's gonna make
But that's
resources.
every evil villain's
Yeah,
thing. Their
not
plan's
Killmonger's.
stupid. Okay, that's true. Okay,
That's my point. Like, if one's better than the other, it's Killmonger. Anyway, what's next?
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, that's top of A for me. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man,
I
aside
love
from Batman,
Spider-Man.
was like my favorite, and he's by far my favorite Marvel
This
character.
took my two favorite superheroes and put them in one movie.
See, that's ironic because I could do with less Iron Man in the Spider-Man movies, but that's just me. I don't like him being Iron Man Jr., which I know is like
I
a
don't.
lot of like criticism, a lot of people, and like it makes sense for the MCU, so I'm not like it doesn't ruin the movies for me. I just in the future I want to see them move away from that, which from the trailer for the new movie does kind of seem like it's doing.
The next, like the second Spider-Man movie, which we'll get to, I thought they should have been away with Iron Man at that point. Like I
I
understand like his death, just like they should have been away with it. They
do like that
did
one
the
more though.
thing in Endgame. Oh, I love that movie, but that's
I
when they
like it
should
more
have
than
been.
Homecoming.
Oh, I like it more than Homecoming too.
Okay, cool. We're on the same page. What's next?
Anyways,
Thor Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok. Yep,
Because that
or Ant-Man the
leaves
Wasp. Either one.
no. Because if we're doing these in order,
Oh, you're
it's
right.
Thor
Ant-Man the
Ragnarok,
Wasp is
Infinity
after
War,
Avengers Infinity.
Captain
Yep.
Marvel, Ant-Man. Yeah, okay. So
Yep.
let's do Thor Ragnarok. Oh man,
I liked this movie.
it's
I
an
liked this
S for
movie.
me. I'd put it behind Black
Yes.
Panther.
Whoa.
I
Above
love this movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy and above Spider-Man.
So funny. Oh, maybe not above Spider. Maybe A between Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm okay with that. I loved this movie. I
It's
loved
so
this
good.
movie.
I'll talk about why in a second. I can be right back. So that's a problem. But yeah, no. Thor Ragnarok is so funny to me. The story is so good. Like it clearly, like people watch that, like, oh yeah, this is what we want from Thor, and like it pays homage to the comics in really cool ways, and it's
Yeah.
just it's really good. I don't know what else to say except for that.
A right in the middle. I like it. I like it.
Oh, and also I wanted to mention this when we talked about Civil War. One of the things I don't like about Civil War is how little everything that happens in that movie actually matters,
Yes.
because they're all friends again by Infinity War anyway.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah.
kind of, but like it never really matters.
Not really.
No, it doesn't pay off in any way.
They're
And
not really friends in Endgame, anyways, though. To be honest.
well, yeah, but like,
But I get what you're saying. It doesn't really matter. Like
yeah,
as much.
like
Like
the
we don't
team
care.
breaking up doesn't
Right.
really matter. Like Infinity War probably could have played out the same way. But that's one of the things I like about Thor Ragnarok, which is then immediately ruined by Infinity War. But we'll talk about that in a second. Thor Ragnarok has lasting consequences. Like Asgard gets blown up, Thor loses an eye, and like his whole people have to leave their home planet. Like a lot of these movies, things kind of end in the same place they began, right? Nothing really matters. No significant big changes really occur. This one had those on a very personal level, and that's one of the things I loved about it. Wanted to say
Yep.
that before we get into Infinity War.
Where we start off actually with Thor Ragnarok's people on ships getting literally half the people destroyed because of Thanos'
Murdered by
thing.
Thanos and his dumb
Yeah.
plan.
And this movie, I think the ending though was pretty great. And like being in theater, I just remember being in theater and being like, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh.
I
I have
think
I have to wait.
lower A tier for me.
I would agree with that.
It's a really good movie. I'm not going to deny that.
It's
And
a
like
really
it,
good
it
movie.
does what the first Avengers does on a whole nother level by combining everybody and like doing that in a really well.
A lot
like,
more people.
You can't
A lot
watch
more
this
people.
movie without watching everything else in the MCU if you want things to make sense.
Yeah, like
And like
Ant-Man.
it's made for the fans. There's so much fan service and it's done really well.
Yeah, like Ant-Man.
Yeah, whatever. And like you can watch it without watching Ant-Man. So I do like it, but like
Huh.
it's got a lot in it, and like you said, it ends on a cliffhanger, which like it was a cool cliffhanger, but like anyone who reads comics or even just kind of has common sense knows that like they weren't gonna like keep a lot of those characters that died dead. So like it was kind of an empty cliffhanger in retrospect. in my
It was
opinion.
still a cliffhanger, though.
It
I think
was.
it was a cliffhanger in the sense of like you didn't know where they were going to go with it, and you had to
That's
wait
true.
for a whole long time
And like
for knowing.
no one
Now that
really.
we know, of course, like for example, Endgame. Now that we know what happens, it's like, oh yeah, but
Well, I mean, even at the
before,
time, I knew like they weren't going to keep Spider-Man dead. Not
no, of
after his
course
last
not.
movie made like $1 billion or whatever. They weren't going
Of
to
course
keep Black
not.
Panther dead. That
But you
franchise
didn't know
went
how
through
they
a
were going to
mess.
bring him back.
That's true, and like Infinity War led to a lot of theorizing, which was
Yep,
really cool. It was cool for the community to kind of have that. So it is good. I just don't love it more than I love
that's
the rest of
Endgame.
these.
Oh, that's Infinity
No,
War.
it's
Never mind.
Infinity War.
Sorry.
I
Yep,
remember this poster. This is the poster
I do
that the
remember that
little
too.
girl pointed out all the people who died, which is one of my favorite stories from working at movie theater. What's next? Captain Marvel?
Or Ant-Man and the
I
Wasp.
haven't seen either, so
So Captain Marvel is a D.
is it?
It is bad.
It
It is
is.
very bad. Brie Larson, I can't stand. And I
Really?
can't stand
I like Brie
the
Larson.
reasoning for why she hasn't been around the whole time. And
Well,
like
that's
they
just
just,
retconning. They
I
yeah.
get it. It's why it didn't make sense. That's why they should have not had that movie after Infinity War. That's why they just shouldn't have done that movie until after Endgame. Like I'm gonna be real. Like they should have waited. There was even in Endgame, she played no importance to the movie. No importance besides coming in
Well,
and just destroying all this stuff.
well, she does
And
destroy that ship, which helpful.
well, I mean, totally. But
They
again, they
could have
didn't
written around.
need,
They could have written around
yeah, that's what I'm
anything.
saying. Like they did not need it. They just wanted to add another character in. It didn't make sense. I didn't like it. And honestly, I really don't like Brie Larson's version of the character. But
I
that's
like
just
her. She's the same as Tony Stark. She's just a woman. That's like her character. She's snarky
I
and sarcastic. That's her character.
it's
I
I
did.
think it's done
I've
differently
seen
though.
half of it.
I think it's
I
done
didn't finish
differently
it.
though. It's done differently in my opinion. But
Yeah, I
it's
wonder
all
what's
good.
different about them. Anyway, Ant Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the
Didn't see it.
Wasp is the movie that makes it where Endgame makes sense as far as in what they do to time travel. So if you haven't watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, you should probably watch Ant-Man and then watch Ant-Man and the Wasp for all of you listeners out there.
I didn't watch it,
Um,
and it made sense.
it's an okay movie. It's an okay movie. Ant-Man's by far better. So if Ant-Man's in B tier, this is probably in C tier. Yep. And I'd probably put it right there. That's perfect. To be
Maybe.
real, I'd rather watch Thor: The Dark World or Iron Man 3 over Captain Marvel just to get back to that one, but it's fine.
I don't think that's. Nah, I think. Look, I haven't seen
Next,
the whole movie, but I liked what I saw for the most part. I just
I think
the
you need to
thing
watch it again with a critical eye.
the thing I don't like about it is it's just another pretty by this book's origin story, which we've had like what 8 freaking times by now.
It's
I didn't mind it.
it sucks so bad.
I
The
think
the
Max is a little
writing on it is
dramatic.
so bad. It's so bad.
A
Just
little dramatic.
go watch it again. The writing on it is so bad.
I mean, I did watch half of it. The writing wasn't that bad.
Watch the other half that's bad.
Okay. What was bad about the writing?
It just the lines and the quotes are seriously so thrown in and make no sense and they don't flow at all and it's terrible.
It's like every Marvel movie.
No,
All
it's
right.
not. No, it's not.
Endgame.
Great movie.
S. Which where on
S.
S.
S. Oh, S. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's the best
I think
one.
it's the best movie. I think it's the best movie of the franchise.
It might not be a personal favorite, but I think the fact that it's accumulation of all of these other ones and it's really good and it does fan service and the story's good. They kind of take it in an interesting, different direction than I think a lot of people were expecting with the time heist, which was dope.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a good movie.
I like the end of storylines. So for example,
Iron
the
Man
whole time
dying.
well, Iron Man dying, but and then Captain America actually living. All the movies, it always talked about how Tony Stark didn't want to die for people, while Captain America was the opposite. He would jump on a grenade at the very beginning to try to save lives, right? And it turns out to where both character arcs go in just totally different ways, where it kind of honestly shows that neither one was wrong in a sense, but it was that like I don't know
It's
that
good
like
character growth.
yeah, it was really good character growth, and also the whole Black Widow versus Hawkeye to like try to sacrifice themselves.
Who wants to kill themselves more?
That fight was awesome, and it just
It was
I
all
and
right.
well for both. But
I didn't
again,
think it was that interesting. I
if
also
you
don't
look at
care about those characters, so like I guess I just didn't care.
if you think about the character development for both of them, though, Black Widow came from a place where and again, I haven't seen the Black Widow movie,
Black Widow
but
has better character development than Hawkeye. I don't care about Hawkeye in the slightest.
Hawkeye during that time in between Infinity War and Endgame was said to have been doing terrible stuff. So that means both Hawkeye
He
and
probably
Black
did
Widow have
terrible
done
stuff
terrible
before
stuff,
that. He worked for
and so they
Shield.
wanted to. Well,
Shield
I
were
mean, yeah,
bad guys
but
basically.
he saw himself as a good person. Black Widow saw herself as being a good person because she was working for Shield, but then really being a good person was sacrificing themselves for everyone. Anyways, I
Yeah,
think
I just
overall Endgame had a lot of good character development and good endings, and then but also made it where the MCU could honestly continue on, with these next new movies,
a
and I
whole new
love
set
that
of
like
characters.
the characters that are going to take over. You know what I mean?
I
Like
kind of
I love
like.
that
Go
it
ahead.
passed the torch.
I like that like the final fight isn't with the original Thanos that they fight in Infinity War. It's with Thanos from the past. I really like that message direct. I like the time jump because there is that consequence. Like 500,000 people, half of all people disappeared, and like they do come back, but it's 5 years later, and it does. I don't know if Marvel's really executed like the aftermath of that super well yet. I haven't, like I said, we haven't seen the two most recent movies. I guess Black Widow's a prequel, though, isn't whatever.
Yeah.
And like, so we don't really know how they address that kind of stuff super well yet. It's kind of mentioned in Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision and some of the other shows. It's sort of brought up. Far From Home, it just kind of doesn't feel like it happened at all, except for like when they mention it. the
Yeah.
world, the world seems pretty much back to normal in Far From Home.
Well, you want to hear something really cool that actually brings in What If? There's an episode of What If where Doctor Strange obviously has a point where he tries to change a focal point and he goes crazy trying to change this focal point
That was a
over and
good
over again.
episode.
He can't stop. So there's actually a theory that Hulk, when he tried snapping and to bring people back, he tried his hardest to bring back Nat. And that's why it hurt him so bad, because he
Yeah,
was trying to change
makes
a
sense.
focal point, but couldn't by bringing her back. And so that's why it hurt him so much more than it hurt like even Thanos snapping. That being said, it
Well,
hurt Thanos a
Thanos did
lot.
get pretty messed
But
up.
but Hulk is made out of like gamma, and so it shouldn't have hurt him as bad. But the theory is because of trying to change a focal point, that's why it hurt him a lot more.
I could see that.
It's not fun fact.
Because like, and that's another thing I like about Endgame is they don't reverse all the deaths. Like Loki stays dead except for in his TV show, and like Black Widow stays dead because Scarlett Johansson's contract is ended. So like
And
there
will
is
not be
permanent
renewed by
deaths.
Disney.
Yeah. Well, no, she's out. She's done. Like
well,
that's why she
well,
sued them.
she's suing them. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not.
Well, yeah, she didn't want to come back. She's very openly suing Disney. She's not expecting to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say the thing I don't like about the movie and the thing that holds it back in my mind, I don't like their treatment of Fat Thor or like even like his existence. Like they take the like guy with like severe PTSD and like survivor's guilt and they make him into like a series of fat jokes throughout the movie. Like they did Thor dirty in that one. I don't like it. I didn't like it.
But I'm so excited for the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie with Thor.
I am too. But he'll be back
Thor
to
Love
normal.
and Thunder, I guess, actually. Yeah.
With Natalie Portman being Thor also, maybe. I think they said that.
Yeah. That is a thing.
Which does happen in comics. Far From Home. It's
We already talked about how we like it more than the other Spider-Man. So are we keeping it A tier or putting it S tier? A tier?
I think A tier, because I think these ones, they all have just like major significance in the universe and in the world. And like because like this is in Endgame's the accumulation of 20 years of hard work. Iron Man started it off and is also really good. Black Panther is like a big cultural significant movie. Avengers kind of showed that it could work. I think that's what separates it from A, like because these are all real good movies, but these have like that little extra oomph to them that kind of put them in the S. So yeah, Far From Home I think it's probably my favorite MCU movie. I love Spider-Man, like I said.
Oh, I cannot.
I
wait
love
for the new Spider-Man
Mysterio
movie.
in that. Oh, that's probably gonna be my number
No
one.
Way
When that
Home.
comes out.
That's probably gonna make it an S tier.
If it's good,
S tier.
like I can't wait. I've been watching the old
Just
Spider-Man
look at the
movies.
Spider-Man movies that are up here right now. We have 2 in A tier.
Yeah.
And this is Spider-Man, and it's a lot more, and it's gonna be better.
And it's the same director too. He's been nailing each. Like he really gets the character. I will say, don't love the Iron Man influence on Spider-Man in this universe. I like my Spider-Man to be a little bit more self-sufficient, but I'm hoping with Iron Man dead. I mean, I guess he was dead in Far From Home, but he's been dead longer by the time the next one rolls out. So I'm hoping we can kind of
See,
steer clear of the
I
Iron Man
I
MCU.
personally like the Iron Man influence because it shows that Spider-Man is still just a kid. I personally love the universe where Spider-Man is a kid because that's what it's supposed to be. It's Peter Parker
Yeah,
young.
you can
And
have
I
that
like that.
without
And he
Iron Man
doesn't have Uncle
babysitting him.
Ben. And he doesn't have Uncle Ben. And so Iron Man kind of comes in because he recruits him.
They also
It's kind
do
of like his
Iron Man
mentor.
Uncle Ben dirty, which I don't like because Uncle Ben's such a huge part of.
But it's because they've done that story
I
so many
know,
times.
but like you don't have to completely blow him off. He
They've
doesn't
done that
get
story so many times.
he doesn't get mentioned by name until that What If Zombie episode. That is the first time Uncle Ben has been mentioned in the MCU, and it's not even in like the actual MCU universe. Mention he because like the thing is, Uncle Ben is such a like that is what defines Spider-Man. That moment, like I get it, they don't want to retread the origin, but like show that that happens. You know, let us know that like
I'm sure this
he
next
cared
movie they're going to
about.
talk about it. They're going to talk about this next movie.
I hope so.
Like,
I don't
with
like
all the
that.
different Peter Parkers, I'm sure they're going to.
And I think like I get it because like he's a kid, but Spider-Man can be a kid without Iron Man's help. That's what he does in the comics. Like I like my Spider-Man to be a little more self-made than have Iron Man give him all his cool suits. You know?
I think it's so cool. I think
Yeah.
it's so cool. I think what it does is it jump starts Peter Parker to be able to do his own thing. And I
I
think
will
like
say
for example, this next movie I think is going to be
I think he could have done his
incredible.
own thing from the beginning because he's a better
No,
character than Iron Man, hands down, hundred
stop
percent,
it. You
thousand
stop it
percent,
right now.
in
You
all
stop it right now.
aspects. Come on, nobody knew who Iron Man was until 2008. Everybody knew who Spider-Man was
Dude, I knew who Iron Man was.
in
Not really. I was
2008
just kidding. I
when
was
you
just
were like
kidding.
9.
Oh, 9. How old do you think I am?
Well, you were. Oh, my math's off.
Yeah,
11.
it's
I
okay.
don't care. 15. 37.
But anyways, I think this is a great tier list.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly kind of what you explained with the S being like the things that really there's a reason they're an S tier. And then A tier is just these are really good movies and then followed down. But I I'm really excited to see these next couple movies. I mean, obviously Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie. I do want to watch the Black Widow and the
I'll probably never watch Black Widow. Gonna be honest.
really.
I don't think I'll do it. I don't. I think like maybe if it come to Disney Plus for free, I
I
would
think it's
watch
going
it.
to, and I think that's when I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, but
Like
I don't think I will even if it's free. I don't know. It's just nothing about the movie looks interesting. I just don't care about Black Widow. I don't at all.
you don't like Captain Canada?
You know what? I might watch it because of what's his face is the Red Guardian.
From
I might
Stranger
watch
Things.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
But
I
yeah,
think
no,
you'll be good.
Spider Man's gonna be sick. I cannot wait to see Shang-Chi. I do not care about the
She's
Eternals
gonna be good.
until one of the trailers makes me care, or people say it's really good.
I did watch a trailer and it looked okay.
Yeah, I don't. It's still so up in the air what that movie's actually gonna be about to me. So I don't
Well, and
care.
also I don't really understand how they haven't come out yet to
I
help.
think they explained it in the trailer. I didn't pay that much attention, but like they can only interfere at very certain points, and like Thanos and all that wasn't something they could interfere with for whatever reason.
They say it's like demi gods or something like that, or demi demons or something like that. But technically, Thanos is one. So.
Well, I don't know or care. I think that's gonna be a weird one for Marvel.
Yeah,
And if it works, I'm excited. I hope it does work because I want to see them do kind of more weird, interesting,
it's
out
like
there
them doing an
stuff.
Avengers movie without doing any of the movies beforehand.
Yeah, kind of. But like the Eternals are more like the X-Men, where it's like a team,
But that's what I'm saying. It's like the Avengers.
I guess. But like the Avengers all exist outside of the. I guess the X-Men. Whatever. Who
This is
cares?
exactly what I just said. That's exactly what I just said. It's like
Yeah.
the Avengers
Like,
without having
comment.
movies before. Okay, you know what? Like, comment, subscribe. That's this episode. This is our tier list. You might not like it. You might think there's something different. Make sure to comment below and let us know what you think Captain Marvel should be, because I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of hate in the comments for some reason over
I don't
that.
think it's. I think you're overhating it.
I think it's a bad movie.
Hey, you're allowed to have that opinion. I
Because I
think.
think Cat Alien is dumb.
I think Ant-Man's a bad movie.
I think you haven't seen it, and I think that is a mistake because the guy, I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who explains everything would be a great. He's just hilarious.
I bet Ant-Man's super average. So,
I bet you should watch it. And with that, we'll see you guys next time.
yeah.